Yeah.
I don't know, actually.
We had stuff like, oh, hi.
Hi. This is live.
Hi. The mics are live.
Well, it's time to start.
I guess it's time to start. Welcome, everyone, to our lovely, lovely panel. What's good, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Everybody good?
That's good, because we can't actually see you, so...
Yeah, right now you are all like tops of heads at this point. And these are not beers, these are waters. So don't tell on us and get us in trouble with the folks at home. So super excited to be here with all of you. Again, thank you for coming out. It is always fantastic to have lovely folks come by and see all of us. We're going to be rocking and talking a lot about some PowerWash Simulator today. So I'm sure that we have some fans in the audience today, right? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. We're going to be talking about the past, present, and future of the game. And I have some amazing folks here with me today that are going to be talking about the game and all of the business that goes behind this wonderful game that we all know and love. So, hello. It's a gnome. It's beautiful. It's really cute. I'm sure you have all watched at least one of these. If you've watched a gnome, raise your hand. Have you told your family about this? The answer is yes. So we're going to do something a little bit fun and something experimental. We're going to try something out. And I want you all to be on your best behavior because we're going to be doing some crowd participation. So here's a QR code. If you want to participate, we're going to be asking you some questions throughout the rest of the show and the rest of the panel. So if you can tag that, snag that on your phone, QR code is there. There's a number there as well. We're going to be throwing some questions at you to give you some love in the audience so that you can participate in the panel today. I'm Khalif Adams. You might have seen me on the Spawn on Me podcast, The Spawnies, or IGN's Unlocked. So happy to be here with all of you today. But that echo is wild. But I want to talk to all of our friends on our panel today. So we have Head of Marketing and Comms from FutureLab, Rebecca Sweetmore. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very nervous. Can you gesture wildly if I am either too quiet or too loud? But yeah, hello. I'm Rebecca, Head of Marketing and Comms for FutureLab, who are the developers of PowerWash Simulator. I've been in games 11 years. My favourite game is Dragon Age Inquisition, and you will be hearing more about that later. And I like cats and wine. I am that person. So, yes. Hi, everyone.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, let's get some claps in the audience. I love that. That's great. Next up, Marketing Manager from FutureLab, Joshua Brown. How are you?
Hey, everyone. So, yeah, I'm Josh. I'm Marketing Manager now, but I was previously Senior Community Manager. So I was sort of the conduit between the dev team and the community. And just we've had so much input and such a wild time with how many people are so invested in the game. But also, it's just worthwhile saying that everyone's had such a big impact on the development, and we're going to be doing more of that today. But I've had 9 years in games, and my favorite game is Zelda Ocarina of Time. I think as a kid, I always just thought I would be Link when I grew up. I don't have blonde hair, and yeah, I don't think it really happened. But I like D&D and ice skating. Just going really fast in a circle, though. Nothing more fancy than that.
Also, I feel like you would be the tallest Link I've ever met.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm weirdly not that... I'm clumsy in everything else, but I'm okay.
I feel like you could like dunk an actual Link at the height that you are at this current stage. Next up, we have Global Brand Manager from Square Enix. We have Anne-Lou Favreau. How are you?
Good job. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I'm Anne-Lou. I'm a Global Brand Manager at Square Enix. I've joined the PowerWash team most recently, so I've been the marketing lead for about 6 or 7 months. I've got 7 years in games. My favorite game is The Witcher 3. And yeah, I guess I'm a big fantasy nerd, and I like yoga. That's it.
Nice.
Can we find out a little bit more about that picture, please?
Yeah, true.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I didn't request a gnome to be made, and then when we did this presentation, it was too late. I was going to do a really professional picture, and then I was told there's no point. So I was doing a stream in my old job for a game called Nippon Marathon, and one of the characters is dressed as a lobster, so I decided to buy a lobster outfit and play on stream as a lobster. So that was my tryout picture.
I love it. It's beautiful.
I love it. You would win many cosplay competitions. I love that. Last but not least, we have Jakub Kubs-Klitinek, who is here, who did not fill out his slide.
Yeah, do you want to explain yourself, Koobs?
I've been very busy. I don't know if any of you out there have seen the announcement that's gone today. I'm also working on other titles at Square Enix Collective. I was at Gamescom last week, and my computer just didn't work. So I got shame, and yeah.
Shame.
I will not shame you for not filling out your slide. I will not put you in Shamesville. It is totally fine, even though the team has done so.
I accept it. It's what it is. I can't change it.
You've been
But I can fill in now. Like, you know,
Yeah,
I can
please
go
do.
on the fly. Like, this is how I roll. Like, half the time anyway, by the skin of my teeth. So my favorite game at the moment, I would say, is Outer Wilds, not to be confused with Worlds. I prefer the kind of time travel mechanic. I see a lot of nodding heads. I can't see faces, but I see nodding heads. So happy about that. I've been 7 years in games. As I mentioned, I'm part of Square Enix Collective, so we're the kind of the indie division in Square Enix that helps with FutureLab and kind of all their power washing needs kind of thing and everything. And I like animals, I guess, like dogs, cats, everything. Like, yeah, there you go.
But not in a weird way.
No, in a weird way, no. No, I should have saw that
in the
coming.
presentation.
Oh, everyone, this is just the beginning
This
of
will
the
be
end for me, isn't it?
professional panel.
The beauty of this panel and these wonderful panelists is that this energy is the energy that will definitely be part of the full conversation that we're going to have today. But speaking to the past of not only this partnership and the work that you all been doing, I want to dig a little bit into FutureLab and talk about the kind of work that you've been doing in the space for a very long time now at this point.
Yeah.
Share some of the info that about the team and about the company and about the work you all been doing.
Yeah, so FutureLab have been around for coming up to 20 years this year. We were kind of, prior to PowerWash, best known for our Velocity series. I don't know if anybody here has played any of the Velocity
Can I see a hands up for people who have played Velocity?
No.
Anyone?
Not.
No, there's people.
Yes,
See, I knew
yes,
that there'll be
right,
people.
thank
I think that was a pity hands up.
I'll pay you the money later. Yeah, so we've been around 20 years. When I joined the studio about 3 years ago, they were a very small developer of about 20 people, and they were just about to launch a game into early access, which is now PowerWash. We're now at about 80, 90 people, probably 100 by the end of the year. Again, thanks to the success of this game, which is incredible. Our studio culture is lovely. We don't do crunch ever. We really take care of our people, and that is our main priority. Thank you. And yeah, I think that's kind of it for a FutureLab overview. A lot of it is centered around PowerWash now, and that is our focus from now until people get really sick of it. So, yeah.
Keep washing.
Keep washing.
Don't get sick of it. It's one of the best games I've worked on.
Yeah, for sure. And our folks over from Square Enix, I mean, there's a lot of things you could all talk about. If you want to share some of the goodness that's been on the radar of late.
So we're going to cut to Collective. I'm going to cut out straight from the Square Enix kind of side of things. But Collective is, as I mentioned before, it's like a division of Square Enix where we look out for indie partners and try and help bring indie devs into the kind of like spotlight. We have such a massive resources available at Square Enix, so it's always been about trying to share those resources and, you know, give back. We're a big company. We've been here for a couple of years now. Yeah, a couple of years, like a couple of decades might be a better way to say it. And it's just about kind of getting games like PowerWash and games that Square Enix probably wouldn't do normally out in front of everyone else and kind of bring it forward.
Yeah, one of the things I love about Square Enix and the work you all have done has been the kind of broad swath of games, right? It's been a lot of different kinds of titles, stuff that is very much, you know, ingrained in the culture and other projects like this that have been ones that have really kind of sparked a lot, not only of just, you know, community, but of like worldwide success, which has been really, really fantastic. Yeah.
I can't lay claim to half of that. I'd love to, but yeah, we got a whole massive teams behind everything.
Yeah.
They like their stuff. I forgot we're keeping it here for everybody.
Oh yeah. You know,
Yeah,
we'll try to play it clean as much. I mean, we're on a PowerWash simulator. You know, keep it clean.
Sometimes it should be filthy.
It's E for everyone.
For everyone. But speaking to that, I got it when we were prepping for the panel. You know, we were looking through some of the slides, and these numbers that we're going to drop on the team. These are massive numbers for a game like this. I'd love to hear your thoughts about what has this kind of meant for a project like this?
I think from like our point of view, we just didn't know at the start of it, because we put out an itch.io demo at the tail end of COVID, as sort of like a feel-good thing. We're like, people need this sort of thing to feel good because things aren't great at the moment. And then from that, we did get quite a lot of feedback, and we thought, well, yeah, some people are interested in this. But when it got to early access, it just blew up, and I think the whole team was just shocked by, I guess, how big it got. And I think we're sort of pioneering a satisfying genre almost, and like it doesn't necessarily have like violence or big goals. You take it at your own pace. It was very different, and a lot of people didn't get it to begin with. But once people did get it, it was a snowball, and yeah, 7 million players is just incredible, like mind-blowing. And in the same way, the community's so big now. There's so many people on the Discord, so many people chatting on everywhere, and we just get so much feedback and useful stuff, and we're making the game better all the time. And especially through early access, the game changed a lot based on just how many people are interacting and giving us feedback. So thank you.
Yeah, clap it up for all the offer for being a part of the community. Again, you don't really see numbers this big unless the community is coming to it in a big way. I love the fact that you talked about the surprise factor of a game like this. What was the biggest surprise for you all, kind of having this game that is very niche but also has caught fire in this way? What was one of the things that was kind of the biggest surprises for you putting this game out and getting that reception?
The amount of hours watched. Streamed, like
So I'm similar. I'm like the amount of hours played. Like I know that I'm sinking a lot of hours, but I play a lot of games, and just seeing a lot of other people do it, that catches me.
That's slightly different though, because if you're doing it, then you once you play it, like you do become slightly addicted to it. But watching somebody power wash apparently is very appealing to a lot of people, and so that for me was definitely the most surprising.
I'm actually curious from the folks in the crowd here today. Are you streaming it? Like, are you streaming it? Are you watching it? Raise your hands if you're streaming or watching other people play. Yeah, it's a fair amount.
Nice.
That's rad. I love that. That's super cool. That's super cool. Once the panel's open, I want to know why. I want to know what's the thing that you're looking for when you get to that point. But here's your first chance to now be a part of the show. I'm going to ask this question. You're going to use that app that's on your phone, and you're going to get some answers on here, and we're going to discuss some of your answers. So again, be nice, be clean, be decent human beings, or we're taking your phones away. So again, there's a QR code for the question. First question up, what is your favorite thing about PowerWash Simulator? And while you're putting your answers in, I'm going to ask the panel as well, what are your favorite things about the game? I'm going to go to Anne Lou first.
I really like stuff like pimple popping, that kind of stuff. So there's something really satisfying about really like cleaning things all the way through, right? Like the ding, basically.
Yeah. Well, Jakob?
Serotonin, I was going to say.
Keep going.
Yeah, it's the serotonin thing.
Serotonin for you.
Yeah, because it's the ding. It's ding. See, I already had it released in my head.
On your head.
And on my head. Oh my God, I forgot I'm wearing the hat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on brand. Yeah, nice, thanks.
On brand.
I'm not a very tidy person in real life, but there's something incredibly pleasing to me about getting rid of all of the dirt and having everything clean. I'm a big kind of list maker, so I like to tick things off, so just that element of it is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So I just love the fact that how much effort and passion the art team put into every level, and it's not just like you're cleaning. Like if you look around the levels, like the environments are absolutely incredible. For example, the Bikini Bottom on the SpongeBob pack, just walking around underwater, it blew my mind when I first saw it because we really leveled things up, and I was like, wait, we made this?
Yes.
Yes, you did. We did. Well, I didn't, but the art team and the dev team did.
No, I love that. I mean, it's very, too, again, it's one of those things that, for me as well, I get that hit of like, oh, I did a thing. It's also one of those things, too, where I have a lot of hyper-focus moments. And this is a game for folks who really have hyper-focus moments where you're like, I will not leave this controller until I find that spot. And then you're like, okay, I finally found it. That's great. I got it. So I love that. That's awesome to hear you all talk about it that way. So we're going to check out your answers.
Yes.
I'm going to hit this button. Please don't be
I dread
scared.
to think.
All right. So let's see. Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Lots of different answers here. Satisfying, power, relaxing.
The ding. The ding.
The ding. Calming.
It cured my anxiety. That's actually beautiful. That's a really big part of the game. Is like there's a real mental health support thing that is really soothing, right?
Yeah, we're actually doing a study with Oxford University on the benefits of the game with regards to mental health. We haven't had the results back yet, but it'll be really interesting to see, what they are.
Did anyone in the crowd take part in the Oxford study? Because it was open to the public. Any hands up? One.
Nice.
Hey.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, that's one of those asks that I think also makes the game, not only in its form of, how you all as devs and folks on the marketing team are kind of feeling and getting some of that information back, but also I would assume that also makes the game, in terms of its game design, gives some extra layers of thought to how to kind of continue to get that process into the game itself. When you see that conversation around the anxiety and the relaxation and all of those parts, when you're designing levels, which we'll talk a little bit later about, is that also a part of the conversation within the team of like, how do we zen this out in the most ways? How do we get those things that we know folks are really digging into to kind of to be performed within the game as well? Is that a part of the conversations that you're all having on the team?
I think just one example during development was that we didn't, I guess, know what exactly people loved about cleaning. And I think we did a poll and 3,000 people took part in this poll. And it made it very clear that people love the skate park. It was like a 10 out of 10 was like 2,600 of the participants put 10 out of 10 for skate park. So we knew that those sort of colors worked. And actually in development, because we had that feedback and we knew what people were sort of liking, the design team went back and basically made loads of the earlier levels much more colorful and also cut up a lot of the objects in the level and made it so you had more dings, because people love dings as well.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Sorry, whoever put better than
Real cleaning.
real cleaning, yeah.
Appreciate that.
Real cleaning.
If you power wash in real life, you get wet, muddy, and it's hard work.
Sweaty,
things are
having
no joke.
tired arms as well.
Yeah, those
We
things
did
are
a
no
trailer
joke.
about this, I think.
Yeah.
For sure.
Kenny
There is one there that, for me, I just saw two of them, the lore and story. That, for me, was the unexpected thing that I kind of enjoyed in the game. Like, it was, like, I remember when we saw it originally, we thought it was just going to be jobs that you're kind of washing through and everything, and then I was like, oh, wait, there's a nice little story. Oh, this is nice. Wait,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Where are we going? Why is it?
Yeah, it gets weird, which
Why?
I like.
Yeah.
Just, but in a good way. No.
Absolutely. I love getting weird with some of that stuff. I think those things make a ton of sense. And you kind of led into one of our next questions for all of you at home and here in the audience. What is your favorite map in PowerWash Simulator? Black Garden, Bungalow, Playground, Detached House. I'm going to ask all of you what your favorite map is, because that's going to be one of those things, and I want to know why. I want to know the what and the why. So I want to go from your end of the table down.
I mentioned it earlier, Conch Street in the Bikini Bottom pack. I think I was just blown away, and I think the colors on that pack are just so nice on the pineapple, and SpongeBob just is so power wash in its contrast and funness. So yeah.
I'm old school. I really like the playground because Dino Slide, obviously.
Yeah, of course, the Dino Slide.
And it's got a really colourful floor as well. Yeah, that's mine.
I was also going to say the playground. It's just a really fun environment, and it lets you feel like a kid at the same time, right? Because
Yeah.
it's very playful, as indicated by the name. So yeah, really good fun.
For me, it was the carousel. Like, it was probably one of the first levels in early access that got added in as part of the kind of, as we were updating and going through. And it was the first one that had, like, kind of the light bulbs. So as you started cleaning
yeah,
it,
yeah.
the light started coming through the light bulbs. And then I was like, cool, I can see exactly where they're going with this. It's all about that satisfaction of the clean kind of thing. And then the fact it was rotating around, so I didn't have to actually do less work, just stand there, just kind of like keep going along, and it's like, cool, you just go spinning around. I did find out later there was a button to stop it, but you know, like by that time it was already clean. So,
I mean, the thing I've always kind of loved about the game is how sneaky you all are, with some of the surfaces and some of the spots that you would not usually think is like.
I don't know what you're on about.
Oh, I mean, look, there are 3 levels of standing and kneeling and getting real low to the ground. And some stuff, I was like, I don't know where this is. Oh, I have to get like real low to get some of that stuff. So mine also was around like fire station. I love fire station. Fire station is super good. Again, I wanted to be a fire person when I was a little kid.
Did you not find the tower like frustrating though? Like I remember doing the tower the first time, and I'm like kept dropping off. And I'm like,
yeah, but I think that's the thing though, right? Is like, but that's the thing is like that level of investment into the level. And investment in getting that thing right and seeing that progress bar move up. It's all those small things that make this game so special, and why I think so many folks love it is that feeling of sometimes when, you know, you've had a long day and you didn't get things done. You're like, this is a space that I can own and get things done in, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought that's pretty brilliant. I love those parts. Is there anything that when you've thought about or kind of seen the work over the years for this game that you were like, we want to make this thing really, really hard for the player just to give them that extra layer of, if they get this, they're like pro at washing?
I think like the game does arc in difficulty because the last level's just massive and has pretty tough dirt on it. But at the same time, the devs gave the Trident nozzle, which is almost like a hack and just sort of cleans everything really fast. So I think it was always the case that it's about cleaning at your own pace. It's about chilling out. It's not about being overly challenging, apart from the time challenges, which are pretty hard, to be fair. But those were just specifically made for people that wanted to speedrun, but we found that speedrunners actually just did it on their own and timed it themselves, so.
Yeah. Frustration is the opposite of what we're going for, Coobs. Yeah, we do listen to feedback when we get it, if people are getting annoyed with stuff, because, yeah, you're supposed to be chilled out and happy.
Yeah. I love that. All right, we're going to see where you all landed on your favorite map in the game, and the winner is Playground.
You're all right.
It was pretty tight between Skate Park and Treehouse, though. I appreciate that a lot. That's kind of awesome. I love that. Yeah, Playground is one of those just levels where it feels like a classic, iconic level at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that at some point there'll be a bronze Hall of Fame of of levels somewhere.
This is an interesting one because this is one of the revamped levels. Back in the day, in the skate park, like, the entire floor was one piece. So you were going for like 40 minutes to an hour on this floor to get one ding. And then the dev team split everything up into circles. So I'd be interested to know like if people played the pre-playground or the new playground.
Yeah, did folks in the audience play the earlier version or the newer version? Raise your hand if you play the older version.
In early access.
In early access, yeah. A couple folks. So most folks are playing that kind of on the newer version, which is interesting too. Yeah, yeah. What were some of the things I want to talk about that really quick? What were some of the biggest things that you found in early access that you were like, we need to really make sure that this is in the game and feels really tight in some of those things?
I think a lot of the dev team early on in early access, people didn't know like where this game was going to land, and I think there was an idea of like how hard we were going to lead into simulation, and like the tools and the jobs, and really like, you know, it could have been like really expansive and complicated. But we actually found people just want to chill out and wash things and lots of things. So it was just about making levels and making levels as pretty as possible. I think that's basically what we honed in on. Once we had the mechanic for the washing right, it was like, let's just make stuff.
Yeah.
One of the nerdy things that I always think about when I play is, because I've worked in a couple dev teams, so I know some of the process of what it goes into making a game. And I know that when you're building something out for the first time, you're like, we need to, especially something that is simulating something that's going to be in real life, the process of what does that mean for the team to get those things specifically right? Did you have like nozzle researchers at the studio who were like, all right, we have to have this nozzle because this angle of water is the one that we need for this kind of surface and stuff like that. Was that a thing too?
I could be wrong, but I think it was our lead designer, Dan Checker. I think he did a lot of very extensive research into this.
Well, the colors are 100% right as well in terms of the 0 degrees and 15-degree nozzles and everything.
Yeah.
So they all match as well.
Actually, can I ask really quickly, who here is Yellow Nozzle Gang? Hands up, please.
Who here is green nozzle gun?
Okay, interesting.
All right.
Another.
And the rest
No
of them.
other.
We're not going to nozzle shame anyone on this panel. So please, if you have a favorite, that's dope. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a ton.
But yeah, sorry, just really quickly going back to Dan and his research, there were some elements that he really wanted to get right, like the nozzles, but he was also very keen that he didn't want the game to become a traditional simulator where you have to really, really think about your equipment and all that kind of stuff. It had to be balanced.
Yeah.
I remembered in the beginning there was like a lot of kind of community back and forth kind of thing, because some of the community wanted it that, we want to be able, if we power wash too long, we scrape the paint off or break the windows. And then I just remember, Josh,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
It is an interesting story, actually, because in the itch.io demo originally, it was very, very, very basic, but you could break windows. And yeah, I think we're pretty glad that that's not there's no fall damage, so you could go off a cliff or whatever and you'd be fine. It's about just chilling out and washing and not worrying about literally anything else.
Releasing the pressure, if you will.
Yeah, releasing the
Nice.
pressure.
Yeah, right. I want to talk a little bit about, and thank you everybody for participating. These have been great answers. It's been a lot of fun. I want to talk a little bit about community for you all, because we've glanced around it and talked a little bit about it. But a game like this, again, starting in early access, now getting a lot of fire underneath it with, again, these kinds of numbers from folks watching it on Twitch and playing it on Steam. What have been some of the most interesting and fun things you've seen happen with the community now? Because I don't consider this to be a game that you would have a lot of cosplayers doing cosplay for PowerWash, but I think that there are.
I'm very disappointed I've seen no blue suits around.
Yeah, that's true.
Shame on
Yeah, you're all in this panel. You should be the hyper fans. Where's the cosplay?
No cosplay, but weird artwork,
Yeah,
obviously, which I quite like. I find it amusing.
I got to hear more about that. What do you
I'll
what do
show
you
you
mean? Stuff you can't potentially share? Is anything that's been nothing that's terrible, but anything that's been a trending thing of is it something you've seen more of or less of from community in that respect?
What, in terms of weird artwork?
Yeah.
Not really anything that I could probably say.
Reasonable.
I have seen some great fan art based on the special packs kind of thing.
Yeah, there's been some beautiful things.
But due to licensing issues, I'm not allowed to share them on our public channels. But you're more than welcome to dig them out. You can look it up on Twitter, not anything else. No. He's now going through a Prince phase of calling it X, formerly Twitter now. So it is Twitter in there. You can search it. Trust me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have seen also some really cool pieces of art of certain team members that maybe form Avalanche in PowerWash shoots. That was one of my favorite ones. I can't really go into too much detail, sadly.
Can't remember that one.
Oh, did I not share that with you? I need to go through my list and share them all again.
Yeah. I think for me one of the things that I do quite often, not so much anymore, we've got a new community manager, so they'll be doing this, but every time that you see a Steam review that is quite personal, there's a lot of personal stories about people playing the game and then saying how it helped them or how, they might be going through a tough time and, it just pep them up. And I think those things I always share straight to the dev team. We use something called Slack, which is just like a chat thing in work. Not exciting, but you see the dev team votes pinging up on the emojis. It's just like Discord and the reactions. And I think that's always something that's special that I share, and they honestly see quite a lot of it. So thanks to everyone.
Yeah. And did you want to share anything? So you lean into your microphone.
No, I was just thinking, the rapport between the community and the dev team of making suggestions for maps, for instance, is seen is still being heard right now. In fact, that's our next poll. And
Spoilers.
but also like the free content patch that was released yesterday for the game, some of that included community suggestions that were again like heard and put in the game, and that's amazing because not a lot of games that are sustained and keep on going have the time or the bandwidth to do it, and the fact that this community relationship is still present is quite rare and really precious.
And it seems like that's been a pretty big part of the experience from early access to even now, of people kind of coming in with suggestions and ways that they're thinking about and kind of interacting with those and that stuff. I love to hear those kind of connections happening between the audience and the dev team. And it seems like, again, everybody really loves to see all that come in. That's right. I think that's the thing too, you know, if you're in the community, people really do appreciate when you send them really good constructive criticism, which is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, you know, push that push to say, like, we really appreciate what you do. How does that really drive you all for continuing to do this fun work?
It's amazing, really. So again, because this was such a surprise success for us, and we were a tiny dev team, people were really emotional about it, and they just couldn't believe that so many people wanted to play something that they'd made. We had a lot of juniors on the team at the time as well, and they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe that they could tell their friends that this was out there in the world, that Markiplier was making a bloody series about it. They're like, oh my God. So yeah, it really keeps them going, especially, you know, as everyone does, there's been some tough times. We've really been, you know, down to the wire with some of the kind of updates and submissions and stuff. So it really, I'm being polite.
Still there. We're still on the wire. Yeah.
Game dev, everybody.
Game dev.
But yeah, it really keeps them going.
Yeah, I love that. And it's one of those conversations too. I think, you know, community maps as a part of the conversation has been one that has bubbled up a lot over the past couple of months, and especially last year. How important has it been? And I want to hear you all talk about kind of like what they are, you know, why you all did it, you know, what was kind of impetus for putting this into the conversation, and then how are you getting some of the ideas for some of these?
Yeah, I think, so the Community Maps was an initiative that we just set up just as something kind of fun and to almost like hone how we were gathering the feedback, and where people were able to suggest pretty much anything. There were hundreds of suggestions. It was originally on Steam because it was Steam Early Access. And then the dev team in the background looked through them and saw what was possible to make and what might be most fun. And then we did a polling sort of system, like a versus tournament on Discord, where people could vote for one map or another. And actually you can see on the Paintball Arena, didn't make it to the cut, but did make it to this last update, which Anne-Lou mentioned. But all of these levels have kind of been a love letter to the community. I think the mini golf course is just incredible. It takes everything that we've learned from all the levels and amped it to 100%. Like, there's so many little things that are almost like vehicles everywhere, and then a huge level as well of like flat spaces that people also love. A bit of a merging of the two. But we've had 3 in the first pack. We've had 3 again this time, and we're making 2 more next year, early next year, and we really could make any levels. But before these community map votes happened, we were looking through community feedback, seeing what people wanted to make, and if we could slot things in, we sort of did, but this was sort of making it a bit more formal.
Yeah, it's cool to see that connection. It's really fun to be able to say, hey, that thing that I voted on made it into the game. In that way, when folks are now kind of in those Discords and in those spaces, are they you know, sending messages back to you all to say, wow, thank you for putting in our suggestion?
I don't know, actually, because we did actually we did actually tag who did the first suggestion, because that was almost a case of there might be 3 suggestions of the same thing. So we looked at the first one and made sure that that user was then sent. But I don't think I've ever had anyone come back and say, yes, my map. It was me.
It was me. It was me. I did it. I like that. Again, that's the fun stuff of being able to really connect with community in a really kind of, I'm going to use the word intimate, but intimate way, in that way. Because it is that really like nice ability to have that real-time feedback in that way. Speaking about real-time feedback, there's a question on the screen about which maps would you like to see in the game.
And
This
who
is going to be a good one. Go ahead.
knows,
Jacob.
there might be another poll coming later on, another challenge between different ideas that people put forward here.
Foreshadowing, as the people would say. Now that you brought that up, what's your favorite map that you would love to see in the game?
It's a weird suggestion, and it's one that's come up in the community before.
Yeah.
I really want to see teeth. I don't know why.
No!
I don't know why. I really I think it would be really interesting.
Teeth?
Yeah.
No.
Giant teeth, I think.
No.
I don't think
teeth,
these are
like
normal
the
sized
stack-
teeth.
Yeah,
It's
no.
giant teeth.
Yeah, giant
Or you're very small.
Yeah, I'm not. No.
Like-
If for the person right now who's in the PowerWash Sim Discord who's like, hyperdentata, I'm going to find you. Don't do it. That's gross. It's like multiple teeth in the thing.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, teeth is one.
Yeah, sorry, I put that out there. I
What?
made it weird so that you don't have to worry about your choices.
And
I'm going to steal
go.
a
Steal.
former one from the community map votes, which is Crystal Caves.
Oh.
That would be beautiful, and I'm really disappointed in everybody that did not vote for it. Because, yeah, I think that would be amazing. Colourful, bright, yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Sorry.
I'm still thinking about the teeth, and I'm really grossed out. Come back later,
You're
please.
broken a fellow panelist with the teeth one.
Okay, I'll go and then you can ungross out. I think I'd love something fantasy-based, like something medieval or like, epic high fantasy. I don't think we've sort of did that with the mini golf course, but I think there's a lot there.
I would say like a castle, like either from a really famous game, like The Witcher 3, or the Disney castle, but that's like a licensing
But that's
nightmare.
licensed
so
stuff, and
that's
you're
not,
spoiling
but-
again.
That would be cool.
But that would actually be cool, though.
No, it would be, because it's a really like colorful castle, right? So it would look great, but I don't want to do the licensing thing.
Yeah, I have a couple, but they're all licensed stuff too. But it would be like if you could do a Transformer, or like an NBA court.
And then when you clean the
Yeah.
transformer off, they actually transform.
Yeah, and then you
But
transform
they
it.
couldn't because all the gunk was blocking the
Right.
transformer.
Yeah. Stuff like that would be kind of cool. But again,
We've had a lot
licensing.
of discussions about whether or not to do famous landmarks, but
Yeah.
we don't know how, like it's a nice idea, isn't it, the pyramids, but then would that not be really boring?
just don't do like New York City subways. I mean, I know there's a
Well,
subway
they
map,
grind
but
already. Like,
But
no
like-
one knows what they look like clean, right?
they've never been clean.
Yeah, like this is the problem. This is the team are going to have an issue. They know what it looks like dirty, but what color is the actual floor in the subway?
It's probably bright
New
pink
York.
or something.
Oh my word! Could
I
you
don't even
imagine?
want to know. It's like Ghostbusters 2. I don't want to know what that's about. Like, that's some deep, dark secret stuff. I don't know no color that subway is going to be if you actually clean it. But the audience, I do want to know what you all have in the
Ooh,
mix. Ooh, these are really good.
Really stand out as well.
Cinderella Castle.
Oh, how do
Less
we clean
realistic
PAX
maps.
West? Is it like the building? Is it the people? It's definitely people to clean here.
The whole of Tokyo.
Nice.
That'd take a while.
I was thinking Space Shuttle too. Space Shuttle would be really, really interesting
Yeah.
too. That would be a lot of
That's
fun. A
not
lot of
licensed.
small parts.
We have talked about a zoo before, haven't we? Sans the animals.
Yeah, to give context, I think the design team were like, yeah, you can't go shooting high-pressure water at animals, so yeah, it would have to be deserted.
Yeah.
And like, what is the dirt going to be in that zoo because animals
Yeah,
are...
we know.
Dust. Hay dust.
Animal cages as
You know,
opposed to the
food,
animals.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Who put teeth?
Who did it? Raise your hand.
Raise your
Who
hand.
put teeth? Yeah. See,
Please
I
leave
appreciate
the room
you
now, thank you.
for owning up to doing it. I appreciate that.
There's a lot of castles though, so that's a good takeaway from this panel.
Yeah.
See you next year for the castle DLC.
I like the idea of a water park because you'd never really think that a water park's dirty, but then actually now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh no, they
Oh
can
no,
get
the teeth are
grimy.
the first one.
All right, we're moving away. We're moving away from teeth. We're jumping across because no more teeth for all of you teeth freaks. I appreciate it. Go ahead. You were gonna share something?
Oh, no, it's okay. I was going to ask for one of the suggestions, but
Yeah, so was I, but
yeah.
No worries. No
No,
worries. No worries.
like, no.
But I do want to talk about some of the collaborations you all have done because I think these have been some of my favorite content. Tomb Raider, Midgard, SpongeBob, which was the most recent one. The fan is the last. This is the next one.
Sorry, I'm starting to get hot thinking about like everyone.
The teeth, it's the teeth
There's
again.
people agreeing with me. That's got me all kind of like not used to it.
I'm curious, like, how do these work? How do these come to be? Because I know it takes a lot of time, a lot of efforts, a lot of moving parts to get those right. I'd love to hear your thoughts about how do these kind of come together? Are those folks coming to you? Are you poking those folks and pitching them? Share your thoughts on that.
It really kind of depends. So obviously we have these good folks here to thank for the Tomb Raider and Midgar stuff. That was pretty easy. But we've got a really good business development and licensing manager, Elliot. If you're watching this, shout out to Elliot. He does a cracking job. But when he started, I think he kind of got given quite an intimidating wish list of like IPs that our co-CEO James would like to see. James talks about it a lot, that he wants the Millennium Falcon in game. So that would be his ultimate goal.
Just so for the people out there, James is CEO of FutureLab.
Yeah, and Kirsty's co-CEO.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, just realized, I just realized now, I'm like, wait, they might not know who.
Well,
James is just the entity floating around
Yeah.
FutureLab, kind of like.
Good job by the head of comms. Classic. So Elliot goes and works very hard to contact like our ultimate wish list, but as we grew in popularity, we have been approached by other IPs as well. So yeah, I think there is actually a spreadsheet at work that everybody has kind of had input in, and he sorted it out.
Like, Josh, you got a story about SpongeBob, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so SpongeBob was actually, and this is just to give context on how, like, just off the cuff the suggestions can be. So, lead QA at the time, Sophia, who is also the number plate on the van, if people didn't know, it's got numbers in it, but it's for Sophia. She just approached Elliot and said, "You know what? I'd love to wash underwater." And like most people would be like, "Well, that sounds." How would that work? But she was like, yeah, SpongeBob SquarePants is my number one. And he just went out and then started that conversation, and then it happened. So it could be as little as that, just saying, oh yeah, kind of, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to wash, why not?
Yeah, I'm sure it's really easy from Elliot's point of view
Yeah,
as well.
Dreams coming true. I mean, but I love that. That's the stuff that I think, again, goes into that conversation of when you get to a certain level, people start to check for you, and they're like, oh, so we might be able to make this happen in a much bigger way. So that's awesome to hear what that was. And again, me cleaning all the pineapples under the water.
Yeah.
It takes a long time, but it's so satisfying once you get it to do exactly what you wanted to do.
I'm so glad in the screenshot they did the 100% ones as well, like when you were doing the slides.
Yeah, and some of the most colorful stuff in the series too, which was really nice. Like the team nailed the art style, and so much so that it felt like we were in the game itself or in the show itself, which was really cool. Speaking of really interesting developments within the IP space and with PowerWash, I don't know if you all had seen the announcement, but Back to the Future coming to PowerWash. Great Scott! So this is a huge deal, and I'm very excited about the time machine and the things that are happening within this game and the world and all of those things. How excited was the team when these initial conversations? I'm sure the Slack blew up. I'm sure the Slack was like on fire.
Yeah.
When I found out, I was absolutely like, what? Yes, please give me more.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
I want it now.
It was on the hit list from the very beginning, and I was just like, we're never going to get that. Like, just forget it. It's not going to happen. But again, James Marsden, our co-CEO, I've seen him posting about it today because we announced this morning, and he's just like over the moon. He can't believe it. So it's still from.
It still feels unreal.
Yeah.
And we actually have it available to play here at PAX.
Yes, come
over to the Square Enix
booth.
stand, and you'll be able to play the time machine, wash it down, and everything like that, getting all those nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to 93%, which was not bad for my first run through. It's, green nozzle.
Like, you see some serious stuff when you get to 100%.
If
any fans out there get that, I had to water it down a little bit.
But I'm excited for this. Again, this tells me a lot about not only how far and wide the team has gone to kind of get these new experiences in, but again, this is This is the nostalgia stuff that I love that
Yeah.
really pulls into that good layer of fan service. When you're going out and kind of capturing some of these deals too, how is that fan service layer kind of playing into that? It's like, we know the community is going to lose their mind when this drops, kind of stuff.
I guess it's I think our community doesn't care what they're watching. As long as there's more content. Yeah, as long as there's more content, they'll get to watch. But I think for us, like, each IP that comes targets a different audience. So SpongeBob is almost on every reply in a Twitter post. And Back to the Future now is such an iconic film, a franchise that I think another group of people will be interested in. And I guess it's growing the community and growing the player base. Whereas I think, PowerWash people just want to just watch whatever.
Yeah.
One of the things that's so good about PowerWash Simulator is that anyone can play it. You could be an FPS fan, play it, RPG fan, play it, and it doesn't matter what your normal thing is. And one of the things that I love when you're looking at the licensed content is what will help bring in a new audience that might not have played PowerWash yet.
Yeah.
And I really kind of appreciate that allows it to be so broad.
Yeah.
And it means that we don't pigeonhole when it comes to the kind of like the actual things.
That's it. Everybody's into something. So if, there are people out there, with this announcement this morning, people being like, oh, I guess I have to buy PowerWash now. So we're coming for you all eventually.
Speaking of which, there's the Warhammer DLC coming later.
Yeah.
If you hadn't seen it, we can't say anything else, but just a reminder, there's more. There's like a lot
there
more.
is always more coming.
More stuff coming.
Yeah, and we've seen some of the concept art, and it's amazing.
Ooh,
I wonder
before we
what
get to our
Andrew's
next mini poll, if you do want to ask a question, we're going to get you queued up for Q&A right in the center row. So if you do want to ask a question of the team, definitely queue up and we'll get you in a second. But before that, what would you want to see in game in terms of IP that you love and know and want to really dig into?
Thank you for doing our work for us as well.
Yeah.
This is where you
Just
drop
pass this on
in.
to Elliot.
Oh, you know what? I appreciate you all so
Steve.
much.
Steve.
Why is Steve coming back in? That's not like that. You can't
Not
license
Steve
that.
is not an IP.
Yes, Harry Potter.
Yeah, I knew those two were going to be the big ones. Our Zelda coming in.
Ooh, yeah.
Outer Wilds. Who said that?
Ooh, yeah.
Hands up, please. Whoever
Mass
said that.
Effect.
Yes.
Gundam would be really cool, actually, because you've got this giant mechas to clean.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, oh my word. I'm love that we're seeing this in real time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like this. Yeah, that's really sweet.
Do we want to get somebody up to talk about one of their ideas and what they might put in it?
Oh, of course. Yeah, if you have an idea that you'd want to share and you have a suggestion, come up into the mic.
This Dragon Age.
Why don't we go for the Dragon Age one, and then Rebecca will be happy.
Oh my God.
Who
Doctor
said
Who,
Dragon
yeah.
Age in the
Doctor Who,
crowd? Here we go.
100%.
Yes!
Look.
Yeah.
Are you happy to talk or no?
That's awkward now. I should
Yeah,
not.
it would be awkward. Sorry.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. that mic.
Spyro's popped up. I'm here for Spyro. Doctor Who.
Yeah, we're all here for Doctor Who.
I think we're all on that.
Is it?
Is the mic on for her?
Hello?
Yeah.
It is.
Hello, thank you for putting Dragon Age.
Yes, I don't have a specific thing from
Okay.
it, but
Shrek.
yeah, when you said Dragon Age, I was like, yes.
Absolutely, that would be my absolute ultimate IP. Anything from BioWare, really, if BioWare are watching.
So Mass Effect.
This
Mass
is now the
Effect.
BioWare panel.
I wish I'd worn a BioWare t-shirt.
Clean a Krogan.
What object would you be cleaning in Dragon Age? What would be the ideal?
The entirety of Skyhold.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I will catch up with you later and we can make a plan. We'll pitch it.
Everyone, please send emails or DMs on Twitter to all of the license holders for this.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't
We need
people,
support.
yeah.
No, don't DM. Publicly
Yeah, no, tag
post
them,
that
yeah.
to them
Tag
so
them.
everyone else can see it as
Yep.
well, and then back it up as well. That would be the way. DMs, keep it. Why are you keeping
No,
it behind closed doors? No.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Nice. Next up.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Normandy from Mass Effect, please. Would be awesome.
Yes.
But yeah, I meet with some friends every week, and then we PowerWash together, and there's 4 of us. And so when we went through the campaign originally, we could only do 2 people at a time for the campaign. Has there been any word on expanding that to let players go through the first time through an experience with more than just 2 players, rather than waiting until you've finished it once?
I think it's always been a back and forwards between the design team on, if you have more than 2 people, the campaign can go very fast. And I don't think it's necessarily that they are against upping the player count. And it's always been something like, should we, shouldn't we? But as always, let us know in the community if you have a request like this. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, there's pros and cons, and you never know. It's not a no, but we'll see.
Awesome, thank you. And then the other thing is that if they're not brought together, the thing that we just kind of naturally did is 2v2, and you're now racing the other team to try to clean the space first. So like some official support of like actually being able to time trial each other, I think would be pretty neat.
Yeah, I think, interestingly, the subway level, not the subway level, the washroom level was designed in mind that 2 players could play against 2 players, because it's almost mirrored either side. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I think the design team's limited in like how many features you can get into the game and which ones people love. And a lot of it is just about, because we don't do crunch, it's always been that we've been like content. There's always king, and then we'll do other quality of life stuff on top of that. But never say never again, but don't want to promise anything.
Awesome, thank you.
I love
Thank
that
you.
idea too. I've been playing a game called Exoprimal a ton.
Yeah.
And they do that kind of asynchronous. The other team is doing something faster than you. And I'm like, so if you start cleaning faster than me, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to like try to stop you. Throw dirt on your side of the map. Anyway, come on up.
Hi.
Hi. I did the Outer Wilds one.
Yes.
I mean, with that one, like, I guess you could do something like pseudo puzzle. I don't want to like spoil anything about Outer Wilds at all. So I'll just say like you could use like the central like 22 thing, I guess, in a sort of like and a sort of like pseudo puzzle or whatever, where like let's say you have like 5 maps like you usually do in like a DLC. Like the first 3, when you clean them, you uncover parts of like a code or something, and then the 4th one is like the vessel or whatever. And when you like clean that one, the code gets input or whatever, and you can go to like a 5th area or whatever.
Ooh, so it's kind of like a cleaning escape room
I was
kind of
just going
deal.
to say, like a kind of
Something
escape
like that,
room
yeah.
styling where all the levels link into each other kind of thing. And
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Folks at home on the team are like, oh, that could be kind of cool. That would be rad. I would love that. You like open up more parts of stuff the more you clean.
Yeah.
As a snippet, just because as with development, scope changes, but I think the final level of the game, which I'm not going to say because it's a bit of a spoiler, but I think that was originally split up so that the inside and the outside were separate. But originally, that level was humongous. And we realized that actually the level was too big and probably would have imploded a lot of lower-end hardware and was scaled back quite a lot. But that was something we toyed with at one point.
Thank you.
Thank you
that was
very
awesome.
much.
That was a great
Just
suggestion. I
noticed
love
some
that.
new ones have popped up. So Shrek has popped up. Animal Crossing is now working its way up as well.
I want to give a shout out to the Wheel of Time people.
Yeah,
There's
me
not a lot
too.
of us, but
Yeah.
it's actually really good.
Right. One of the licenses I would like to see is Sailor Moon. I even wearing the shoes, and I thought there was going to be no table in the way, and I went to show off my shoes, and
Those are
now
really
I
good
can't
kicks,
because
too.
I'm not that flexible. So, I was going to be like, look, it'll be great, but yeah, sorry.
Do yoga, everyone.
Hey.
Hi, I put up Final Fantasy 14. I know you've already done a Final Fantasy game, but I figured Alta IP-wise, probably easy, all under Square Enix. Limsa Lovinsa would be interesting to do.
Message
Maybe
Yoshipi.
Yeah, just add him on Twitter, basically.
Message him,
maybe
at him.
next FanFest, I'll talk to him about it. But my actual question is, you have those custom maps like you just did the new update, but they reset all the progress for all the other maps. Is there any plans to like kind of have building progress kind of like in the main story to do?
I think it's one of those things again where I think the design team were looking at those levels and they don't exactly fit into like the timeline of the campaign, because it was almost we did the campaign first and it was like a beginning and an end.
Yeah.
And then the custom levels, the bonus jobs they're called, were like a added extra that sort of expanded the universe, were on the side. But to the resetting, it's basically because the save files in PowerWash Simulator are quite large, and they're just a compromise between not having too large save files and having a system where it resets. But I think it is one of those things that's on the design team and development side's minds. But we'll see whether there's a better system in the future.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Next up.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. So I love the suggestion of the Millennium Falcon. However, I would consider it a personal injury if the Millennium Falcon were added without also adding the Enterprise.
Ooh.
Oh, dread the Star Wars. Should have known that was going to come up. Not planned.
No, just fine. Just joking.
I do want to point out that the Enterprise has a holodeck. My favorite part about PowerWash Sim is the surprises. So I thought there's a lot of potential there.
That's a really
That's
good
rad.
one, thank you.
Every level could be in the holodeck. You do the
Technically.
Enterprise, and then everything is just something else.
You think you washed it, and then it
It disappears, and then you get transported off into a planet. And you're never to be seen again. I love that. And there's been some more additions to that, too. Minecraft, which would be brilliant.
Could you imagine Power Wash in the style of Minecraft? All
Oh
of a
my
sudden the
gosh.
water is now blocky.
Well, yeah, like the water is pixelated. Even more stuff. That would be
That's
kind of
really fun.
interesting.
That sounds like a lot of work, to be honest, for the team.
What's that? I'm being a feature creeper? Sorry.
Yeah, feature creep. Death Star. The Death Star would be really cool to be able to do that.
Spyro would be a really good one because it's so colourful.
So wait, so for the Death Star, would you be inside the Death Star, or would you be outside the
You
Death
would never
Star
leave.
cleaning
You would
from
never leave your
space?
computer.
Yeah, it feels, yeah, right.
I think, from the design team's point of view, I think the inside is very white and shiny and like bright. So whereas like the trench and the outside of the Death Star is probably not going to be that interesting to reveal. It's like maybe like a brown to a grey. So I think if they ever did do that, not they ever would, it would probably be inside. Just thinking of how they might think.
Yeah. Elden Ring needs to be cleaned. The whole space.
Just the tarnish.
Just the tarnish alone, it needs to be cleaned. It's not that. Oh, we have
hello.
somebody.
Hello.
Hey, hi, how are you?
So just do like the.
You can angle it down a little bit. Yeah, you got
There
it.
you go.
Yeah.
I would just suggest that if a Star Trek ship thing is going to happen, I would personally suggest Deep Space Nine. It is dirtier. The point of it is that it sucks and it's a horrible ship and it's messy and dirty. I think that would translate better.
Yeah, it's the best track.
You're saying it as if we couldn't have both.
Ah.
I mean, okay, fair point. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But no, do you appreciate that as a suggestion? You're right, 100%. Like,
I rock with that energy. That's good energy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Deep Space Nine sucks. Yeah, that's great. I love
That's
that.
the point.
No, I rock with that. That's great. I love that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I like that a suggestion for Fortnite came in. Wouldn't that just be a literal shortcut into other licenses? Because I kind of forgot what Fortnite is. I guess it's Banana Man. Like, that's the main guy, the blonde dude. I don't know the names of them. I just remember what they were.
Banana guy and other guy with the other thing in the fro and
Yeah,
thing.
and the girl with the purple ponytail.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
We know Fortnite a lot. Deeply ingrained into the Fortnite lore. You're our last question for the panel. Thank you so much for coming up.
So I would love to see more like NASA or ESA stuff. Like the
Yes.
rover was really fun. It might be
Yeah.
really fun to do stuff in space where there's no gravity. Maybe with power wash effects.
But how would the
How you
water...
move.
Have you ever seen how water reacts in
Yeah, but
gravity-free situations?
You're power washing underwater, Cube.
Yeah,
so
we can
Yeah,
make
that
it
is also
sort
true.
of, you know.
But if we are going for a kind of a NASA theme, I'm assuming you would want to kind of keep it a little bit more close to NASA,
Yeah.
right? If it's NASA law, like you can't break NASA law because that's science.
Yeah.
So it's also a video game.
That is so nerdy. Like, science is NASA law to you.
No,
Like, the laws of physics, it's just law to
Yeah.
Cubes. Like, it's not.
Now I'm just envisioning when something goes wrong within the science world, NASA comes to your home
You just rewrite the
and
law when it
invokes
goes
NASA
wrong. Yeah.
law.
Let me just erase this, rewrite it now.
You
There
not
go.
this into NASA law?
Is it in NASA law as well that the rover's been
Yeah, the
locked
rover's
up by
actually been
aliens?
there
Is that
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's in
I
game.
agree with you. I rock with
I like
that.
that idea. I
It's
just,
really
Yeah.
cool, yeah.
I wonder what would
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you everybody for your wonderful questions and comments and suggestions. These are brilliant. Super, super cool. We're almost at the end of our panel. Time has flown by. But if you want to go see more of the game, you want to go and wash a time machine, you can go hang out at the booth, which is basically when you walk up into the beginning parts of the PAX arena. They're between the Sega booth and there's another booth.
Pokemon
booth and the Pokemon booth.
You can't miss us.
No.
Yeah, you can't miss. You're literally one of the first booths you see.
In front of us. There's no way you can miss us.
Yeah.
Over in the arches in the other building, not in
Yes.
this building here, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, as a thank you to everyone, the lovely enforcers at the entrance will have a little goodie for you if you want. So,
Yeah.
yes, thank you very much for coming and seeing us today.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that any of the suggestions that have been made today as well could potentially make it into the game, and I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, so thank you all for your suggestions. And I'm sure Elliot will be looking at all the IP suggestions too very carefully.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you,
coming.
everyone.
It's an amazing time. Thank you to our panelists. Give them some love.